Hey everyone, Brandon here from SNOWMOD RC, and today we are going to show you a little mod I did to my SCX10.2 that actually worked out very well. I've taken it out once already and I had a lot of fun, and it accomplished exactly what I wanted to accomplish. So I figured I'd share it with you guys. Maybe it's something you want to do. This is a mod that I have not seen on many SCX10s. I know they are out there. I know there are some guys that swear by doing this. But for me, this was a first, and I like it a lot. Especially for how my rear suspension was set up originally. It works out a lot better this way. So, this is Project SCX70. It's a Axial SCX10.2 with a killer body LC70 Toyota Land Cruiser hard body. As you can see, it's been beaten on quite a bit. So let's take the body off and I will show you what I did. Okay, so here it is. You can see I installed the Incision Currie anti-rock off-road sway bar to my SCX10. Now this sway bar setup is specifically designed for the Axial RR10 bomber or the Yeti, but it actually worked very well for this. There was just a few things I had to adapt, but overall the way it is set up by itself fit 99% perfectly. So what I have here is I have obviously my shocks hoops gone because of how my body sits. So this is a completely custom suspension. Now this is probably the, I want to say, 5th or 6th full redo of this rear suspension. I have played with it, set up many different ways, and so far this is the best. There's a couple little things I need to change as I get going here, now that I've taken it out and seeing what it can do, and seeing that I want to keep it set up like this so I can go ahead and finish up a few little things. So anyways, Incision Currie anti-rock off-road sway bar. So I made custom steel mounts here on both sides for the upper shock mount. I drilled one extra hole through the frame for this mount, but it actually also is, in this case now, serves as the hole that the sway bar rod slides through, so that when it actually, this is all clamped together, it keeps the mount from rotating, any of that stuff. So it all kind of holds itself into place. What I need to do, what I was talking about, is something extra I need to do. Now that these are all set up, I'm going to get a piece of, it's basically an aluminum sleeve they have at the hardware store, and it's got threads in it already, and basically it will go in between here and make this one solid piece. Other than that, this has functioned very well. As you can see, everything actuates how it's supposed to be. Even when I lift the one side, you know, you can see the sway bar trying to do its thing. The only thing custom I really had to do to get this to fit was, so here we are. Usually your shocks on the SCX10.2 are mounted on the outside of the lower shock mount, the red piece here. So I put them on the inside, and as you can see, they're on the inside of the frame, and the tolerances in here are actually quite small. Those look like they're rubbing, but they're actually not. That's how close it is. When everything cycles, it actually clears the frame just fine. So the shocks went to the inside. The connecting rods for the sway bar went to the outside, and I put one big bolt all the way through. And I made these connecting arms here myself, and just used some SCX10 curved ball joints to make sure everything scooted over and lined up nicely. So as you can see, I can flex it here a little bit. works out nicely. So far so good. The other thing I did, and this was for an older setup I had for, actually I did this for Axial Fest just to make sure, because I didn't have the sway bar at the time. My shocks came down really far, so as you can see here, I made a bump stop. So this is a SCX10 shock bump stop. I cut it in half and I put a bolt through it, right through the cross member here. And so if you look, when the axle hits it, it actually so you can see it actually compresses. And if you look up top, you'll see the screw come up a little bit. So this whole thing will compress when it gets hit, instead of abusing the frame all the way down to the axle. So basically you get a little compression, boom, saves all that, comes down and hits right on the nub here, and that's that. If you're wondering, this funky piece here, this is a frame extension for the SCX10.2, I believe. Probably worked for the SCX10 as well, from RC 4-wheel drive. It brought the chassis all the way to the back of the body that I was using, and made everything look and fit a lot nicer. So that is the Incision Currie anti-rock off-road sway bar on an SCX10. The other couple things before I get out of here, this I had to redo the holes. This is the original version of the anti-rock, and part of the problem was how it clamped to the connecting rod, the cross rod. So I basically replicated what they had here, one more hole over. It actually worked out, lining everything up properly. So now everything is clamped down nicely. Yes, the screws aren't the best, but it's not coming apart like it was all the time right out of the bag. So let's see, anything else? Yeah. Oh yeah, one more thing. Here, so this sway bar comes with these brass sleeves that actually fit into a bracket on the bomber, and probably the Yeti as well. I've never put one of these on a Yeti yet, so I don't know. But you can see these aluminum sleeves I have in here. These are just plates, because there is a shoulder or a collar inside here that's part of this brass one. So all I did was take the aluminum here and basically give something more than just a very small, it's just maybe a little bigger than this rod here, brass, so it's not pushing on that and bending on it all the time. And if this were to flex, it wouldn't flex up here, it would actually start pressing on the aluminum, basically sandwiching the brass into the aluminum into the frame, and keeping this gap out here from flexing or getting bent. So hopefully that makes sense to you. Also with these, to get these to mount, I did have to put spacers in here to clear the shock from the chassis itself. But other than that, everything else mounted up very nicely. Very few little modified parts. Most of the stuff that I used to make this work was just extra stuff from parts trees from all my rigs. So hopefully you found this useful. Hopefully maybe something you want to try to your rig. If you have any more questions about it, please let me know. I'd be happy to answer them, or show more pictures, or whatever you need to help you get where you want to be with your rig. Oh, sorry, I had to stretch. Anyways, so that is the Axial SCX10.2 sway bar setup on Project SCX70, and we will see you next time. Don't forget to drop the subscribe or hit the thumbs up for the like, or whatever it is you need to do, and we will see you next time. Thanks a lot.